Good morning everybody, it's Chris here from Serene Education with the 4 majors analysis update for the 3rd of October 2011. Hi everybody, just going to go over the 4 majors this morning with our CTC strategy template, starting with Euro against US dollar. Let's have a look at the daily chart. Wow, Euro has gapped down, well it hasn't gapped down, it is trading a lot lower than Friday's close. I did mention, was very hesitant about all these shooting star patterns here, a lot of exhaustion. I was actually triggered in on this particular candle, this day here, for Thursday. I was very skeptical about this shooting star here at a resistance level. It just didn't stack up. My charts were telling me otherwise, my indicators were telling me otherwise. I wasn't just using the CTC, by the way. Nikki and I have a number of other strategy templates that we use to get us a better indication of price movement, and I was able to see that, especially on hour and 4 hour, a lot of indecision, the spinning tops, shooting stars on those particular time frames at a resistance level. Yes, it did trade higher. I was triggered in. My stop was above the previous swing in this case, so well above 13,700. I wasn't triggered out because of that. Trading in this particular time frame, you have to go for the price swings. Had faith in my trading strategy, just bide my time. You have to bide your time. You've got to be very patient in trading, and I was rewarded on Friday and saw up this morning a total of, if I'm not mistaken, let's have a quick look here on my account, 187 pips this morning. Not a bad sum. Triggered in on the 28th, so yeah, went through this little period here on Thursday. Thought the market was definitely going to be rallying against me, and I thought, wow, had I done anything wrong? But no, I followed the rules. I set myself and by the strategy, and you have to. Stop was in place at the right particular area that I wanted it to be in. It did abide. I stuck to all the rules that one has to apply when trading, and yeah, it's come out positive. So that's a nice one. Pat on the back for that. So looking very negative. Here at the moment now, pretty much every single chart is giving us a sell signal. Smaller time frames, 5, 15 are giving us a blue arrow. We have blue candles on the 5 minutes. It's all consolidating, and that consolidation is pretty much coming because if you look at the 4-hour chart, for example, you can see that there is a support to the downside here, and we had a breakout recently. You can see I've just built up a picture, and it's consolidating in this downside trend. Broken below price support here at 13,400. Noticeable 2 touches. So if anything, reduce your consolidation here, we could see potentially price pulling back to roughly the 13,400 before we see resistance, and ultimately a further continuation low. Lots of selling recently. You can see the 4-hour time frame very negative. So if we see a pullback, it will come to around there, and then ultimately continuation lower. So yeah, roughly we are seeing some sort of consolidation this first thing this morning. There's news out. So 13,300 could be a potential support area. Just factor that into your trading. We could see consolidation today. So don't rush into this headlong. Hourly, C2C moving averages, the whole thing in our favor. Beautiful trade. This fantastic movement to the downside. We have charts are showing us a breakout, but this is down to data from our provider. But we are seeing a slight consolidation now, and I mentioned that we could see potential support at the 13,300 mark. Is there enough in this trade to look for further shorting opportunities? Not really. So rather bide your time, wait for a definite break below 13,300 before we see a continuation of it. Okay, so we could either wait for the bounce to roughly the 13,700 and then look for further shorting opportunities as price retests the downtrend. You can see noticeably that this trend got a lot quicker towards the end of it, so we could see price pretty much coming back and testing that if that's the case. So let me just see if I can get this right. There we go. So price isn't too far off. If we do see a swing and a pull back to the trend line, but ultimately 13,700. If it's trading above 13,700, then it's possibly we're going to see further upside movement during the course of the couple of days. But if we can stay below that area, then we could surely see further downside movement continuing in the next couple of days or so. Next up is the sterling against US dollar, good old cable. Let's have a look at the daily. Here again, we've also seen a break lower. This is pretty much because we've seen we've seen consolidation at the 15,6,500 mark or so. Price support, breakout, new resistance. We've seen a lot of consolidation in the past a week or so. Hesitation as price has been making its lower swings. It's been very, very, very negative. A lot of selling over a short period of time for cable, and then we've seen this massive upside movement. This failed to materialize as 15,6,500 roughly, and we've seen ceiling level at that area, and prices pretty much pulled back to the downside. Spinning top, well, shooting star-ish, spinning top, but you can see a clear resistance level at that level, and we've seen price reversing. CTC is well extended in our favor, all the moving averages above us, which is fantastic to see in a downside trend. The 4 hour, you can see the consolidation, so a lot of selling on this pair. And then the breakout, we wanted to see price trading above this area here, price support, and I mentioned the 15,6,500 mark. That failed to materialize because we started getting a lot of wicks, a lot of indecision at that price support, which is the new resistance level. Price needs to be trading above that to give us an indication of trading to see for the upside movement. And when we do that, we're going to be trading back into the potential another support resistance level at the 15,7,500 mark. There is 100 pips in that, so don't get me wrong, but there's a definite band that we need to get above. Once we get above that band, you can see a lot clear air to at least the 15,9,600, 9,500, which happens to be roughly around the 1,600 mark, which happens to be our long-term support and resistance on our daily time frame. A very psychological big barrier. So yeah, clean air once we get above 1575 to 1590, but that's a 200 pip move there. But it's got to be trading above these areas in order to give you that. Until then, we're still looking at resistance to the downside, consolidation, resistance, and there's a clear level of resistance above us, and you can see a lot of wicks above that area. So you could say there's a great, if it trades above 1565, 1575 as a potential target, but you could have said that on our smaller time frames here and still been caught in. So it's far better to wait and trade above 1575 or wait for further downside movement to occur. And you can see a price swing here, which happened to be a resistance level before. Price stayed above it for a number of hours, and then the open of the Asian market session last night saw cable trading well lower than the previous support at 15,600, and we've seen slight consolidation this morning on our 4-hour chart. That's going to be depicted on our 30, our 15 and 5 minutes. So you can either bide your time now, and you can say great, it's broken below. Let me look for price to break below 15,500 to see further extensions lower, or wait for a confirmed pullback to the 15,500, would happen to be the price support in this case, and then continuation lower, which could be the case. So yeah, put together a chart. We are looking very negative on this pair, but we are going to see consolidation. We do have some news this morning. And we have a German bank holiday today, all day. We have manufacturing PMI results from 9:30 GMT this morning, so bide your time, wait for those results to come out, and then trade. It's entirely your choice. But at the moment now we are in a consolidative pullback, and trading slightly higher than the Asian high of this morning, but it needs to be trading well above it. And you can see that the candle, the 5-minute candle that's in play now, is not pretty much, it's not closing above. It needs to close higher, and then if it does, then we could see ultimately those levels. There's a potential level of, let's have a look here, prior support and resistance here at the 15,4,500, 15,500 mark. So that could, if it breaks and closes above 15,15, 15,51.5, then look for a rally to at least the 15,54 mark before the trend line becomes back into play again. So lower swings depicts price action, and you can see that price has been falling. So roughly the 15.45 could be a potential resistance level if and when we break above the 15.51.50 mark. US dollar Swiss franc is the next one. Good old Swissy, and she's been moving slightly to the upside ever since we had the break of that institutional highs of the moving average in this particular case, so breaks of support and resistance here at the 89.50. We've seen a clear bounce, nice support being found over this period over 3 days, and then we saw Friday's upside candle, and we're making our way back up to those highs that we saw previously, roughly around just short of the 9200 mark, which happens to be roughly around prior support and resistance level at the 9250. So all looking good at the moment for further upside movement. If you look at the swings, fantastic. That's what you want to see. Perfect. So be aware we are testing body highs, but wicks well above the 9200 here in this case. So if you can clear this area here at the, what would that be, 9100 mark, and stay above the 9100, then we're looking at 9150. Let's look over here, 9100. There we go. You can see prior support and resistance at 90.095. Higher swings on our hourly chart depicting price action to the upside, moving average as well, evenly spaced out below us. Fantastic. And a lot of wickiness on our hourly chart, but we are heading higher. If you wanted to, everything's in our favor. You could see previous highs over here, for example. But if you want to aim higher, then ultimately the high of this candle here would be your next potential target for the pair. So C2C is looking bullish across the board for Swiss franc. Just bide your time, look for a break above the previous high. Asian high in particular would be a good opportunity. Notice here, for example, there's a clear resistance level, above us. Got to be trading above that. Otherwise, what we could do is see consolidation taking place in this upside move. Major trend is, intraday trend is now being tested. Swing high, swing high, swing high, swing high. We've had a bounce, previous swing. So, got to be breaking and closing well above 91.20 to see further extensions higher. Otherwise, we'll be trading against resistance. So, got to put it together. Last pair of the day is the US dollar Japanese yen. Let's have a look at the daily time frame. Here again, this particular pair risk averse over the past month or so. You can see a clear support and resistance level just above the 76.10 area. We've seen a lot of bounces, support like we did at the 80 mark before we saw the breakout not so long ago. Here again, the US dollar rallying on against the Japanese yen since the consecutive bounces we saw in mid-September, and by doing so clearly trading above a consolidation area, roughly the 76.80 mark in this case. There's definite prior resistance here, further resistance in the breakout on Friday. Asian market trading come Monday morning. We see the trading indecisive as the European session has opened. Ideally, the next potential target for this pair would be the highs via prior resistance at the 77.70 mark, and we're trading above the two smaller time frame moving averages, 50 in particular, as we speak. CTC is still trading negative because we are pretty much in a negative downside with the consolidation to the just a consolidation in a downside move. Overall pattern is looking rather steep. If you had a look at that, then ultimately what we're looking at is a potential resistance level not too far away from where we are now in terms of downside, but ultimately we are very much in a downtrend. So intraday we should see price action with blues across the board for CTC. Yes, we have seen some consolidation just recently, but as prices moved higher, 4 hour, you can see particularly the drive started out quite low, and then we've seen major moves. End of play last week Friday, we saw a massive move to the upside. That was pretty much a full extension of the move. Let's have a look over here. Yeah, 100% of this initial move here, the break of the institution moving average, and then we had a consolidation above that, a support found, and then continuation higher, which is 100% move on our 4 hour, and then we've seen consolidation ever since. So got to be trading above that 100% here, 77.20 at least, to see further extensions higher, and we could ultimately look at 77.45 and ultimately 26.1.8, and ultimately is the next target. Or you could just look at saying, yeah, okay, great, we've broken above support. Ultimately, our target is going to be here at 77.80, the prior resistance level, which happened a number of times in the past. So that'll be your next target here on this pair. You can see a lot of consolidation on the 4-hour time frame, and we are testing those prior highs resistance. So a lot of resistance through here, breakouts, a lot of resistance again, further breakout, a lot of resistance again, and we're now seeing a potential where the 61.8 will be a potential support and resistance level. So if it can stay above the 7700 mark, then ideally we could see a push higher. You can see the 4-hour now, we're seeing consolidation above this area. It's got to stay above the 7700 mark in order to see a potential movement upside. Otherwise, we're going to see consolidation lower, and potentially the institutional moving average here, roughly around the 76.80, could be our target intraday if it fails to find support at this level here. So going forward, if price can stay above 7700, then for the remainder of the week we could see a bounce, and the US dollar rating against the yen intraday on that time frame. So be aware of that, factor that into your trading. 7700 intraday will be our support. You can see that on our 30-minute, for example. If we can stay above that area, then we could see potential higher swings. Fail to see close higher than that, could ultimately see price action falling back down again, as I mentioned. And the 76.80 for starters would be a potential support and resistance level, because we've been in the past. There's another one down here at 76.50. I'm just looking at really quickly area of support and resistance, so you get a gauge of what I'm looking at. And ultimately way back down here to the 76.15 or 10, which is where we've seen price before. So stay above 7700, then we could see potential further upside movement for this pair going in for the remainder of the week. That's it, guys. Hope you have a fantastic trading day today. We are seeing there's a bank holiday in Euro today, but we do have a lot of news coming out this week. We have non-farm payroll this Friday, so unemployment figures Thursday, but there's a lot of news out this week. So factor it into your trading, guys. Non-farm payroll first Friday of every month. We have the unemployment figures stateside, excluding the farming community. Makes a big. It is a big issue. You've got to be aware of that. We have also a lot of other things. If I'm not saying there's bank, we have a lot of news coming out. A lot of EU speakers this week. Tuesday, Benaki's testifying again. We have bank rates, cash rates for Australia. What else do we have? Wednesday, ADP non-farm employment change on Wednesday. We have minimum bid rates for Euro, very, very important. The official bank rate for sterling on this is Thursday now, so a lot of heavy news on Thursday and Friday in particular. Are we going to see a further reduction on the interest rates figures, 0.50 for sterling, or are we going to see the European Union pull back, or from the 150 at the moment now, we could see it going back to say 1 or 0.75. It'll be interesting to see that, or what steps they take. So very, very important news coming out at the end of this week. So please be aware of it. Be aware of it, because you will see volatility, and you don't want to be trading in a volatile situation where you. So rather, you're either trading and you take into consideration that news announcement, or you stand aside, let the news announcements occur, and then you trade the outcome of it. So very important. And then Friday we have the non-farm payroll unemployment change. We have the unemployment rate stateside, and then a lot of news for Japan as well on Friday. So factor that into your trading, guys. Hope you have a fantastic trading day. Please follow the rules of the CTC strategy template if you are using it. But if you're using any template out there, or if you're using any strategy, please back it up with sound money management rules. You can have the best strategy in the world. If you don't apply money management to it, or the correct money management to it, it's worth nothing. Take care, and most importantly, trade serenely.